Chapter 3. Laney rubbed her hand across her belly. The baby was very active today. It felt like he was turning all sorts of somersaults in her stomach. And even though she had just been an hour ago, she felt the burning need to visit the bathroom again. The cool air tore through her thin sleeves as she exited the portable. Normally, she didn't mind not having a room in the main building, but when she had to go outside in the cold to get to the bathroom, it was much less enjoyable. She made sure to keep her hand on the railing as she stepped down the ramp. The temperatures had dropped enough this morning that it had been slippery when she arrived, and though the custodian had salted it, she didn't trust that fully. Her anxiety eased when her foot hit the concrete. It might still be slick, but at least it was flat. Slipping was a lot harder on a flat surface. She pulled out her key to the outdoor bathroom, dreading how cold it would be. The indoor one would be warmer, but it was a lot farther to walk, and there was only one single-stall teacher bathroom in the building, so if one of the other teachers was using it, she would have to wait. She wasn't sure she could wait. At least the outdoor bathroom had 3 stalls, so the chances she would have to hold it were small. There was nothing on the ground, at least nothing she could see, but Laney found herself falling nonetheless. Was she passing out again? Had she tripped on something and not noticed? The baby. She twisted to try and land more on her side than directly on her stomach, and the concrete scraped through her thin sleeves. A hole appeared in her right sleeve, followed by tiny red droplets. But she didn't care about her arm, or the ache in her hip, which was the second place she had landed. She cared only about the baby. As carefully as she could, Laney stood and performed a mental check. Her arm and hip throbbed. She could feel the blood dripping down her arm, but that wasn't what worried her. What worried her was that the baby wasn't moving. Perhaps he had simply fallen asleep, though she wasn't sure how with that fall, but he had just been moving a few minutes ago. It seemed odd he would stop now. She should check it out, take some time and go to the doctor, but then she would have to admit she fell. Again. Laney was getting tired of telling people about her falls. Still, she didn't want to not get checked out and have it be something serious. She would go, but she still needed to use the bathroom first and get her arm cleaned up. Laney garnered a few odd looks as she entered the building and made her way to the office. Was her fear evident on her face? Or was the tear in her sleeve and the blood freaking people out? "Oh my goodness, what happened to you?" Dana, the nurse, asked when she entered the small room that always smelled like Band-Aids to Laney. She had no idea how Dana worked in this small room all day. "I fell. Not sure what I tripped on. Maybe ice?" Dana's eyes widened. "You're going to get the baby checked out, aren't you?" The fear in her voice ratcheted up the feeling in Laney's heart. "Yes, I'm going to call as soon as we're done." "Good. Don't wait. I'm sure we can get you a sub for the last class." "Do you think I hurt the baby?" The fear became a waterfall as the words spilled from her mouth. Saying them somehow made them more real. Dana's lips folded into a tight line. "I'd like to say no. I mean, babies are surrounded by a lot of fluid, but you're, 36 weeks?" 35. Laney sat on the small cot-like bed and rolled up her sleeve. "I wouldn't want to wager a guess. My suggestion is to fill out a workers' compensation form and then head to the doctor." Laney nodded and tried not to grimace as Dana swabbed the scrape on her arm. The stinging sensation was minor compared to the squeezing one occurring on her heart. She took a deep breath to calm herself. There was no use getting all riled up until she knew for sure. Besides, God was in control. "Okay, all done. Let's get you that paperwork." Dana strode to the secretary's desk and rummaged in a folder set until she found what she wanted. She handed the white form to Laney. "Fill this out, and you can return it to Linda tomorrow or when you get back." "Thank you." Laney took the form, trying to keep her fingers from trembling. It was one thing to say God was in control, but it was much harder to believe when it concerned her unborn child. Tyler pulled out his cell phone as he turned the truck engine off. He was only going to be gone the evening making this trade, but he missed Laney, and he wanted to hear about her day and wish her a good evening before she passed out. He never knew what time that might be anymore. She used to stay up past him reading, but lately she'd been turning in shortly after dinner. Pregnancy must really do a number on a woman. Though he envied a few of the feelings she described, like feeling the baby move, he was not jealous of the rest. Her hips had begun aching so badly at 4 months that she could rarely walk longer than a few hundred yards. And a month later, she'd developed a wicked case of heartburn that required prescription pills. Plus, there was the nauseous feeling that overwhelmed her around certain foods. He couldn't even eat bacon in the room with her because she swore the smell of it turned her stomach. Yes, those things he did not envy. Hello? Hey, beautiful. How's your day going? It's been interesting. Why did she sound so tentative? Interesting. What does that mean? Red flags were setting up camp in his mind. Had something happened to her? Had something happened to the baby? Okay, don't freak out. Don't freak out. Those were not the words to say to him to keep him from freaking out. But I fell at work today. She fell? Visions of her hurt and lying on the pavement invaded his mind. Oh my gosh, are you okay? He should never have left her alone. She had a klutzy tendency on the best of days, and now she couldn't even see her feet. I'm not sure. I'm at the doctor's office. They have me hooked up to some heart rate monitor. So far everything seems fine, but they aren't letting me leave yet. Tyler looked at his watch. It was nearly 5. If he did the trade quickly, he could get back on the road within an hour and be home by 10. I'm coming back, but I can't get there till this evening. You don't have to come back, Tyler, she said, interrupting him. I know how important this trade is. It is, but it's nowhere near as important as you and the baby. Can you keep me informed through text if you get released? Otherwise, I'll head straight there. And call Nancy. Someone should be there with you. Okay, I will. Tyler, can you pray?